Welcome to Pleasure 101 with Amber Mallory, the sexpert and pleasure activist behind Bijoux Indiscrets. Now we are going to talk about anal sex, something that I feel like has so much taboo, so much misinformation, and can be so pleasurable, and so many people are missing out on it. So let's get into my sexpert tips to a successful anal sex. So tip number one for successful anal sex is to be prepared and to be relaxed. So what do I mean by that? One, to be prepared, make sure you've had a conversation with your partner about this, whether you are the giver or the receiver of the anal sex. It's always great to communicate and kind of relay your expectations of maybe you're scared, maybe you're nervous. What are we gonna do if I don't like something? Is that okay? Kind of navigating all of these spaces allows you to clear your mind and come in a relaxed way. I also think that another way to kind of relax yourself is to enhance the setting. So it's not just about going into the room and then having anal sex. I even implore people to use aromatherapy. So kind of light some lavender candles, create a really quiet, relaxing environment, put on music. And a big way I actually recommend people to start anal sex is through erotic massage. So using one of our full body lubricant / massage oils is a great way to do that. So by touching the body, by rubbing the back, by rubbing the butt, by rubbing the legs and kind of relaxing your partner, that's going to help because you actually have two sphincters. So we see the anus, this is what we see visibly, but behind it about this much in length in, we say an inch, but probably a few centimeters for our metric using global people. So there is a second sphincter, and this is the one that's heavily connected to the mind. So this is the one that says, I have to use the bathroom, I'm uncomfortable, this is painful. This is it. This is what's talking to you, not this one. So to kind of relax this one, you need to relax your mind. Otherwise, you're going to be super tense. So a way to do that is through erotic massage and kind of beginning to play slowly. I recommend people start with fingers. So playing a little outside and then kind of introducing penetration very slowly. You can also do some oral play around the anus, just around that part of the body, or actually stimulate your partner simultaneously. So maybe while you're starting with the anus, do a little bit of play up front, either with your mouth, with your fingers, with a vibrator. Just find a way to really kind of engage your partner and relax them. And know that in anal sex, if you're really not feeling it, sometimes it's just not the day. And it is okay to say, no, actually, I changed my mind. I don't want to do this. And we can reevaluate another time. So don't forget that you always have an exit strategy. So whenever people say anal sex is exit only, by that we mean you have your exit strategy and that is it. That can be it only and it is enough. So don't worry about saying no or changing your mind. You totally can. So I feel like I kind of gave like 2 for 1 in that last step, but a second step that I would offer someone when it comes to anal pleasure is actually to incorporate toys. So sometimes butt plugs or vibrators and different aspects like this, the vibration and the sensation can actually kind of almost numb in a way. I do not under any circumstances recommend any kind of benzocaine or numbing agents because this kind of keeps you from recognizing any pain. Because if you're having pain when you're having anal sex, you should really stop. Discomfort may be present, but pain should absolutely not be. Maybe you feel a little uncomfortable. And a way to kind of work through that is through breathing. So if something is really intense, you can say, hang on, I need a second. And take a few deep breaths and then proceed forward. So breathing is an excellent help. Utilize your body's natural relaxation methods and ways to kind of comfort yourself to ensure that you're staying comfortable and experiencing a lot of pleasure while you're having anal sex. And so, like I said, using a vibrator around the anus, or as I mentioned, using it kind of in the front or playing with the genitals themselves can also help. And you can also utilize the aspect of toys. So maybe while you have a finger in the anus, you're using a vibrator up front and you're having kind of this dual penetration. This is a way to kind of have your body focus on both. And also, when you have something in the anus, if you have a vagina, it's going to push up against that muscular layer between the anal canal and the vaginal canal, and it's going to create a tighter sensation there. So it's really, really a great way to kind of explore your pleasure if you want a more penetrative aspect, because anal sex doesn't have to be literal anal penetrative sex. It can be using a toy while you're having other penetrative sex, or it can just be playing on the outside. I mean, there's no specificity to what anal sex has to be other than pleasurable. So my last tips when it comes to anal sex is definitely to lube it up. Keep it wet, keep it ready, because this is a non-lubricated area. So by adding lubricant, you're going to create a lot more ease when you're trying to enter if you're going for a more penetrative route. So what I recommend you, I actually recommend one of our newest products. It is a CBD arousal oil. So this isn't necessarily a lubricant, but it's a great pre. If you put this on the anus, it has this little pump, and you can just pump it right out onto the anus. And so what it's going to do is the CBD is just going to relax those muscles and allow you to kind of slowly integrate play while also adding kind of a little bit more of a like sexy sensation around it. So I recommend just kind of putting a little bit of arousal oil. If you don't want to put it direct on the anus, place it on the hands and then kind of play around on the bum, on the body. Make sure though, anything you're doing with the hands that are in and around the anus, we're not doing to the front of the vulva or inside the vagina. We don't cross-contaminate when it comes to that. So pick a hand and keep it on that side of the body, unless you wash in between or use gloves or condoms, obviously. With that being said, I recommend either our finger play or our anal play gel. So both of these have this very thick consistency that's going to allow you to penetrate and play without creating any harm, any micro tears. It is a thicker texture that's going to stay moist longer, and it also kind of has this silicone-y feel without actually being silicone, so it's not going to be corrosive to silicone products. So I recommend our anal play gel or even some of our full body massage gel, as I mentioned before, which is a silicone-based product. So what you kind of want to think about when it comes to keeping it wet is making sure that that solution and that lubricant is thick, that it is lasting, and that it doesn't have sugars and alcohols and all of these things that's actually going to dry out the area. So be mindful and play and have a great time. Remember that sometimes it's not just the day, sometimes it's another time, and sometimes it is going to be the best anal sex ever. But give it a try, breathe, and it's never too late to kind of say yes or to say no. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out our anal sex guides. We have a lot more information. We go a lot more into depth and can offer so much more detail to kind of this. These videos are just meant to be kind of playful, fun, quick ways to remember what you can't, maybe want, maybe don't want to do when it comes to anal sex. So thank you so much and enjoy.